Hello anyone and everyone, today we're going to be reacting to this thing. Now I got this on an ad on YouTube, and I did put that in a YouTube short actually, if you don't know, I am a furry, therian, and quadrobist. I am 14, so I am part of the minority sort of thing that they're treating this as. I will say straight off the bat, I do not support this at all whatsoever. It's treating it very badly, and yeah, this is a Christian group because it keeps bringing it up, and I do not have anything against that. So I'm not trying to hate on this for that reason. Just thought I'd point that out. But yeah. All right.
Maybe you heard the rumor that some high schools in the United States were giving students who identified as furries litter boxes.
Furries are not identities. People do not identify as a furry. A furry is not an identity like a therian. A furry is an interest. It's a fandom of people. It is not an identity, and they do not use litter boxes. Oh my god, right off the bat. Really, yeah, no. No.
Boxes to use instead of normal toilets.
And so yesterday I heard that at least one of our schools in our town has in one of the unisex bathrooms, a litter box for the kids that identify as cats.
They think?
No. No, I seriously doubt that, and if so, that is not what is representing furries at all. If anything, I could possibly see, like, one therian or something, but that is not what our community is in any sense, especially not furries.
I think they're a cat. A cat. They put tails on, and they demand that they have a litter box in the school.
We reached out.
Not furries. Furries don't think they are animals. It would normally be, well, I mean, I guess it depends on what they mean when they say they think they're a cat. Normally what people are actually meaning is they, spiritually or psychologically identify as a non-human animal, which would be a therian, unless you're talking about thinking you're physically an animal, but I doubt it. Anyways.
We reached out to several students, parents, and teachers, and no one we talked with said that anything like this had actually been happening at their school. We did hear stories.
Exactly. Yeah, doesn't happen.
Stories of some students who were suspended for barking at others, and
I seriously doubt that was furries or therians or any sort of vocalist. I, as a furry, therian, and vocalist, and quadrobist, and all that, have been barked at by a lot of the kids at school, like, bullying me for being a furry. It's normally not the furries barking.
Other stories of students who wore cat ears and tails and would walk on all fours and lick their hands.
Quadrobics, cosplay.
In class, but the litter box thing wasn't happening. In fact, some school districts, including some in Iowa, Michigan, Nebraska, and Wisconsin, published emails and open letters about how they would definitely not have allowed something like that to happen.
Yeah, like I said, it didn't happen. They wouldn't do that. Not only would the schools not do that, but no therian, furry, quadrobist, anybody would want that.
Schools. As one superintendent put it, there have never been litter boxes within MPS schools. It is such a source of disappointment that I felt the necessity to communicate this message to you.
Exactly. So far they've talked about a lot of things, mainly just, like, barking and walking on fours and litter boxes, which are all non-furry things. Wearing, like, tails and ears could be. It depends on what kind of tail and ears, whether it's, like, therian or just furry or something like that, but yeah.
The question is, why were so many people so ready to believe that schools were doing this? One reason might
because of false stereotypes and hate that is unreasonably being spread.
Have to do with the way some schools already handle the topic of gender identity. When so many teachers and administrators are willing to address students by their preferred pronouns,
And what's wrong with that? Is that not a good thing? I mean, letting somebody be addressed the way they would like to be addressed, that seems fairly simple.
theoretically, these same schools might also be willing to make other kinds of accommodations. If the goal is to help create a safe space for students to feel like they can be their true selves while they learn, well, what if they really do identify as a cat or a dog?
At least in my experience at my school, which is extremely accepting of an extremely wide range of, like, gender identities and just people in general. Like, we literally, every single class we go in, every trimester, so 3 times a year, we fill out a sheet being like, okay, what's your preferred pronouns? Can we use these with your parents? All of that. Yeah. And still, they were even, like, iffy on, like, me and my friends were talking about it on our break time, and the teacher came over and was mad at us for talking about it. My point is I doubt that would happen. Anyways.
Some might argue that to compare furries and the trans community in any way is bigoted and transphobic.
Yeah, furries are some fun hobby. It's a hobby, and fursuiters, the ones that have fursuits and stuff, are animal cosplayers, versus being trans or something is a gender identity. I'd say those are pretty freaking different.
And it's true that there are significant differences between the two
Yeah, you think?
groups. For example, someone who is trans is more likely to say that their trans identity is permanent, while someone who identifies as a furry is not.
Nobody identifies as a furry. A furry is not an identity. Nobody identifies as a furry. Being a furry is a hobby. It's an interest. It is nothing more.
More on that in a few minutes. Both perspectives involve trying to go beyond our physical bodies in different ways, but at least at this point, being trans is a little more culturally understood.
Yeah, just because it's more culturally understood does not mean that it's better or should be accepted more than, like, a therian. Yeah.
The question becomes, what exactly is the appeal of being a furry,
Yeah, maybe you need to learn that yourself.
particularly for Gen Z?
Is it mostly just like a form of like creative expression, or is there something deeper going on, like with?
I just gotta pause that and say that's a freaking awesome fursuit. That looks really cool. Really well made. I'm sure it's insanely expensive, but really cool. I like that color scheme.
Your interest in the
I
costume?
think it's probably on lines of both, because as much as it is an amazing way to express yourself, people who have issues with mental health find particular comfort in the furry fandom because it's a little bit more, just something's very appealing to it, like the bright colors, the soft fabrics. It's just,
I also would think that the furry fandom is very, very accepting of people for who they are, and a lot of communities these days aren't. So yeah.
it's comforting.
A furry is a person
Agreed.
who's interested in anthropomorphized animals, which
Anthropomorphic animals, technically, but yeah, that's right.
are animals with human characteristics,
Mhm.
like an ability to talk or walk on their hind legs. Some wear full-body animal costumes called fursuits and show them off at conventions like FurCon.
Yes, but that is a very small percentage of the community, and I'm sure a lot more would wear them if they could, but they are so freaking expensive. Averages around $4,000 for a full body suit, so yeah.
Others may opt for just wearing a tail and animal ears. For some people, being a furry can also
That's called a partial fursuit, by the way.
take on a sexual dimension.
It is true, but that is a subculture of the furry community, and that is not the main part.
And there are some conventions that have become known for that kind of thing.
Stereotypically known.
But most of the research and stories we came across were about the appeal of trying on a new identity. Many furries
A furry is not an identity. I gotta stop saying this, but seriously, what the heck, dude? No. No.
Can be shy, reserved, and socially anxious in real life. Many are also neurodivergent, often having autism, ADHD.
Don't use first-person language, please. Don't say or like, well, I guess in that case that would be your choice, but don't say like, oh, they have autism. Say they're autistic. It's so much, like, it's not that hard, and that way we're not being separated from it. Of course, individuals will have different opinions, but personally, as an autistic individual myself, I would much rather you say, oh yeah, they're autistic, instead of they have autism. But yeah, that is true. The large part of our community is neurodivergent.
Tourette's syndrome, and can struggle to feel comfortable.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think Tourette's is neurodiversity, or a neurodivergent disorder, whatever.
In a world
I
that
might be
doesn't
wrong.
always understand them. But when they adopt a fursona, many describe a new sense of freedom to be
Fursona is like a character, if you don't know.
whatever they want to
Animalistic character.
be. They can be confident and outgoing without the fear of judgment that they might feel in their everyday lives. They feel more comfortable doing things they want to do, like dancing or talking to people, because of their
Yeah, so what's wrong with it? What about that is bad?
empowering disguise.
When I'm Courtney, I'm shy, I'm nervous, I don't like having a...
There's no way that's Gen Z. Like, they keep showing... Is that Gen Z? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that's Gen Z.
A lot of attention on me. Courtney's the stressed out grad student trying to work on a PhD. I prefer being Nuka. He's mischievous and playful and silly, and when I'm in my persona, I don't mind people looking at me. I'm okay.
So yeah, in my fursona, that's meaning like you are playing the character. That does not mean you identify as it. And I don't think the person explaining this gets it. This guy does, but obviously.
With being the center of attention, I don't feel so embarrassed to have everyone's eyes on me.
I think I can relate with this on a personal level to some extent. I used to be incredibly shy, and in high school, being a part of theater was a big part of helping me move past that.
Perfect example right there. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Something about being able to represent a different character on stage other than myself.
Exactly, it's a character. It is a role play. It is a cosplay, not an identity.
Helped add a lot to my confidence. It reminds me of what author Neil Gaiman once said. People talk about escapism as if it's a bad thing. Once you've escaped, once you come back, the world is not the same as when you left it. You come back to it with skills, weapons, knowledge you didn't have before. Then you're better equipped to deal with your current reality. Of course, people can't deal with their current reality if they never come back to it.
Furries are in another reality. They do normal human things. They don't always wear a fursuit. They're normal people for the most part, or maybe not normal. We're all weirdos, but that's not a bad thing.
I did theater. There was never a point when I started to believe I actually was the character I was playing.
Neither with furries. If you believe that you are physically an animal, that is a diagnosed in the DSM-5 mental health disorder. A therian believes it spiritually or psychologically. That is separate. That is a belief. That is different than thinking physically. And furries, they don't believe it at all. So I don't know what he's trying to get at here.
In a similar way, if someone who dresses up as a cat also wants to actually start using a litter box, they've crossed
Millionth time, nobody actually wants to do that. Oh my god.
over a pretty significant boundary. Someone who did that might consider themselves something like otherkin, which is a whole other thing.
Yeah, and otherkin is the, well, I mean, it's not actually used, I don't think, very much now. So what they're trying to talk about, if it is a person identifying as an animal on a non-physical level, then that is a therian. Otherkin is more like, I mean, I guess I'm not going to explain that because I'm not very well-rounded and I don't want to spread misinformation, but ultra-human community is basically the umbrella term for all of this. And I believe, if I'm correct, other kin is like fictional. But no, that's fiction kin. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm getting mixed up. I'm gonna stop.
But for a lot of furries, it's often just a costume, a way to practice becoming more out.
Yeah, a costume. It's always just a costume. Assuming you have a fursuit.
Going and confident, which eventually might carry over into their non-furry life. One of the most important conversations to have about furries might be the fact that sometimes we all need encouragement to embrace who we were created to be. In Genesis 1:24-28, God distinguishes human beings from animals by giving humans the incredible value, dignity, and worth of being his representatives on our planet.
Okay, so personally, as an atheist, I do not agree with this. Of course, I'm going to have a different belief on that, so I'm not going to comment on it in a bad way, just pointing that out here. Because personally, I think that humans are not good creatures in any way.
We might try out various things along the way to help give us a new sense of confidence, but the goal should always be to eventually embrace the identity we have been given by our Creator. Along those lines, here are 2 questions we'd love to leave you with. 1, what helps you feel confident? And 2, what does it mean to you that you have been made in the image of the Creator of the universe?
Alright, everyone, so that was the video. I know this was really long. Hope you enjoyed, and I really hope you learned something. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them. Yeah, if you want to see more videos like this, please let me know, and I will be more than happy to make them. And just clearing up some things. Once again, I have nothing against trying to educate people, and I have nothing against like Christianity and stuff. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to derail some of these stereotypes that are being explained in here. Yeah. If you have some questions or concerns or just comments in general, and you voice them respectfully, I will be more than happy to answer them respectfully in return. If you don't, I'm probably just gonna have a bunch of fun with it anyways, just like messing around. So yeah, if you want me to take you seriously, take me seriously. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.